Peace, peace, peace. Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of Do Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and we are here with the young man, the myth, the legend, the co-founder and the future of African media, Black media, and the future of Black production. Got my little brother and y'all's boss, Isaiah Lewis, in the building, co-founder
Peace.
at Anime Productions. Peace to you, brother. What's going on with you?
Peace, brother Knowledge. Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, for me and for many of us, you like a child star we done seen grow up. You see what I'm saying? You like a
Yep.
child star we done seen grow up. It ain't like different strokes where we ain't know the person. You know what I'm saying? Or they was already grown. Like we just seen you grow and prosper and come into yourself, and we also seen you give back. So um, for the ones who don't know you, let's just start there. Give us a little background. Introduce yourself to the family.
My name is Isaiah. I'm a co-founder and vice president of Edanime Productions. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Many Dr. Also known as Dr. Bailey. Grew up in Baltimore. Of course, if you know my mother, you know that she's very passionate about history, very passionate about a second education that I find very valuable. I learned about my history. I learned about African culture. I learned about African values that a lot of children in the American school system don't get to learn about, or even global school system don't get to learn about. So that's why we created Meltrek. It's a animated series that teaches about African history, and it's a way for me to give back to my community the knowledge that I was given as a child and the knowledge that I, a lot of people in our community don't get this information and they find themselves lost. And after they leave the educational system, they can fall to the things that they will fall to without knowing who they are, knowing having pride in them. So, about getting currently a sophomore finance major with concentration in actuarial science at Howard University. Just started my second semester. Also working on a club here called Mecca Moguls, where I'm trying to inspire entrepreneurship amongst the students here on campus and also provide resources for the businesses here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Have yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right, so you said you're the vice president of Anime Productions. Let's kind of get a background in the story of Anime Productions, Meltrek, and some of your roles and responsibilities.
Well, Edanime Productions started in 2014. The whole mission really came out, or even a book or any type of educational media for my little brother, for him to just learn throughout our childhood and maybe just do it in a more interactive way. Because what we went through, we was getting lectured, we was getting lectured, and it was we learned the information, and it was nice, it was productive, but it's always good to have like something that's more and kids to really feel connected to information, feel like it's something that they need to grow up with, something that they need to have instilled in them. So she didn't find much in her search for that kind of media. So in 2014, she knew that I had a talent for writing. She knew that my brother had a talent for graphic design. And with that knowledge, she brought us together, encouraged us to use our talents to create something productive and give back to the community, and also start our business for ourselves. So started Meltrek. We started Anime Productions. Ed is short for educational, anime is short for animation. That's why, and we focus primarily on our animations. So that's why we call our company Edanime Productions. Then we created our first project, Meltrek. Mela short for melanin and trek means journey. So in this project, you're going on a journey to understand the history, culture, and achievements of Native people. So that's where the namesake comes from. But Meltrek is about five kids go back in time. They travel to different civilizations. They travel to different time periods and learn about a lot of African history, culture, and achievements that they don't learn about in the school system today. So and the reason that we decided to focus on history first was just because that's one of the biggest things that is lacking in our school system. We don't teach about African history. We don't teach about it, and if we do teach about it, we're not teaching about it from an African perspective. So, with that being said, it was important for us to start with African history, not even African American history, just to really connect how far back our greatness and our history goes. So we go back 4,000 years to the Nile Valley civilizations, Kemet, Nubia, um, and then we go to the West African civilizations. We go to Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, the Central and South
Isaiah,
African regions.
they're saying
We
that you're
visit.
breaking up. The people that are watching, they're saying that you're breaking up. Is it possible for you to switch to like another location? Um, they say you breaking up. Like you coming in good for me. Like you started off breaking up a little
Uh,
bit, but for them, I don't know what's going on.
it says the Wi-Fi is good. I don't really know what would happen if I switched to another location. I'm in a lounge right now, so is there
So
any
for the
way
family
that
that's listening, is he still breaking up? Just trying to see real quick. Just say something. Because for me, you was good,
peace?
but for them, can y'all hear him pretty good?
Check, 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 check.
All right, let's keep rolling. I don't, you know what I mean?
Okay, so in the first film, Meltrek episode one, exploring ancient Africa, they go back in time to ancient Africa, visit about 12 different civilizations, and we chose to use this is actually the film right here. This is Meltrek episode one, exploring ancient Africa. You can see we have a diverse cast. We get a lot of backlash for that, but our whole perspective is that we teach about African history from an African perspective. There's no doubt about that. We use African scholars, we use African research, and that was always very important in our research. But the reason we chose a diverse cast is because I think that because we live in a global society where you interact with other people every day, and it's important for not. It's primarily important for us to know our information, know our history, know who we are. But it's also important that we let the world know who we are and let the world know where we come from and our accomplishments as a people. Because I think that misperception is can be just as dangerous as us having a misperception about who we are. So for any questions about that just clears that up. In the second film, the same group of kids go to the pre-Columbian Americas, where they learn about some information that a lot of adults learn in America before Columbus. So they go to the pre-Columbian Americas. They visit they visit the North American continent where they see the mound builders. They visit Mexico where they see the Mayans, the Olmecs, and the Aztecs, and then they visit South America where they see the Incas and culture of those people. They also learn about the African presence in some of these societies and just how there was an African influence in America. The Europeans even came. So, like I said before, a lot of information that kids rarely learn about in the school system today. As far as what we did after the films, we created supplementary products, created a lot of different products to really help kids engage with this information on a different level. Instead of just watching the film, now we have a coloring book, we have a storybook, We have lesson plans on our website. I can actually, I'm gonna share my screen for a second so I can show you our website. Okay. So this is Ed Anime. Can you see the site, brother? Hello, can you see it? So this is edanimeproductions.com. If you go to home, you'll see we have our events listed here. We have loading a little slow. Yeah, you'll see we have a couple of videos. We have our events listed here. We have our email list sign up sheet. If you go to shop now, all of our different product listings are available here. I'm going to go to books right now so I can show you some of our supplementary products. So this is the Meltrek episode 1 coloring book. We have a bunch of coloring activities and coloring activities, connect the dots, crossword puzzles, a whole lot of fun to interact with the characters in Meltrek to get a better understanding of the film and its purpose. We also have a storybook that I authored in 2017. In this storybook, it goes along with the film, goes deeper into a lot of information, clears up a lot of misconceptions. Also includes a really nice glossary and high definition images. So, like I said, we're really trying to provide as many tools as possible for kids to interact with this information. Um, so yes, what we're really working on. We made our unit plans, made our first 2 films. We're also working on creating supplementary products for the second film right. We're building up for our 3rd episode, Meltrek episode 3, the arrival of the Portuguese. I'm sorry. So Meltrek episode 3, the arrival of the Portuguese. I've been doing research on this film for the last 2 years, and we actually recently did a research trip to Ghana where we visited the slave castles where research in Ghana just about how those first interactions between the Africans on the continent and the when they first came. So a lot of research have gone into this film. Um, we're planning on talking about the arrival of the Portuguese that occurred. We're talking about the rebellions that occurred. We're talking about the slave castles, how they came about. Just a whole lot of stuff, again, that kids do not learn about in the school system today. So as we explore this, we always keep research in mind. I'm gonna keep telling y'all how important research is to us because I think that's the biggest question here. We're teaching stuff that isn't normally taught. We have to prove that this information is necessary and that this information is true. So yeah, that's what we're currently working on. Also remember all of our products. You follow us on all social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at Edanime Productions. Spelled some.
Now, y'all recently took a trip to Africa. I wanted to know your reactions. I saw you and Dr. Ma on Sign of the TV, kind of getting y'all interactions, but I want to tie it into, you know, anime productions to actually going, to Ghana, and how did that shape your or change your, perspective in regards to the history of our people and, you know, the product that y'all put out for them.
Ghana was huge, both on a personal level for me and for a professional level for Edanime Productions. when we were there, we did a tour. We visited four. We went to Kumasi, then we went to Takoradi and Sekondi, and then we went to Elmina. So while we were there, we visited two slave castles, and it was a very. I learned a lot of information. I mean, I knew a lot already from prior research about the slave castles and the conditions that they were in, but from of course, our ancestors were there, but hearing from the people who have to live and see these castles every day and really live live in that in the aftermath of all the things that the Europeans did on the continent was very powerful. We were in Accra. We got to see, and that was also my first time leaving the country. So very, like I said, very powerful experience to go to Ghana, to go to motherland, walk back past, turn, bring my ancestral lineage back to Africa. So that was very powerful for me. As far as Edanime Productions, we did 3 presentations while there, and in the 4 cities we went to 3 different schools total. And at those schools, I got to really see how different the schooling was there. I got to interact with the kids. The people of Ghana love when Americans come back. They very strongly encourage African Americans to repatriate, come to bring their resources, bring their knowledge, and to work in building Ghana to be what it truly can be. So, but at the schools we gave out some products. We the kids they speak Twi, which is like, or and some other like African languages, but they also learn English as they get older. So with the younger kids, it was kind of harder to really do the presentation just because their English isn't as strong. But we did it. They love the media. They love the film. They were able to ask questions and answer questions, and it was a very the people there. They showed nothing but love. And this is the beginning of us take not the beginning just because we've been selling products in other countries since 2015, but this is the beginning of us really going around the world and taking Meltrek global, because we know that this information African Americans, this is information for all the people in the diaspora, and we plan on tackling issues from all around the diaspora. We're not just going to focus on African American history, but since that's where we come from, that's from our prior research, that's what we're starting with. We started with Africa. We're now working towards going to the continent of North America and talking about the slavery and stuff there. But we want to be able to explore. We're planning on going to the UK next year and to connect with some people there. We're planning on going to different places all around the world. We really want to take this project globally. We've had a very great support in America. We've been building our support in the UK, and it's just important for us to really take all the things that we've learned and to spread those, because it's not even just about spreading the history. It's about spreading entrepreneurship, spreading the light that we can give from our experience and all the lessons that we've learned.
All right, so that was a very good point. That leads me into that next question. How important is it for our people? You've been an entrepreneur, since a youngster. Dr. Mott said y'all put your own money up in this to build this. So how important is that for uh, young youth to be involved in entrepreneurship and black people in general?
It's extremely important. Every other the biggest problem, one of the biggest problems in the black community is that we don't own our communities. We don't own the businesses in our community, and that our wealth doesn't circulate. The black dollar circulates doesn't circulate. If we're being honest. So that's one of our biggest problems. That's one of the things that's holding us back from economic and social prosperity. So entrepreneurship is a big solution of that. And it's not even just entrepreneurship that's important. The biggest part is supporting each other and supporting these entrepreneurs in our community. We have to build that culture alongside with the businesses that we create. So, as a Black entrepreneur, I can see how a lot of Black people just don't really support. A lot of Black people do support, but it's not in our culture to support each other. If you go into Asian communities or white communities, they make it a priority to support each other, to support their own. Whereas we, maybe it could, it's I think it's a lot of like our survivalist instinct. We're trying to get the cheapest prices. We're trying to get the cheapest prices. We're trying to get what's the good product on the market. We're trying to get what's popular and things like that. So, and also what's promoted to us isn't usually each other. Within our communities, everybody comes in and promotes themselves, and we're not really promoting ourselves to each other to that same extent. So, um, like I said, entrepreneurship is important because we need to build our wealth as a people in order to really prosper. Other people, there's been studies that other people have grown in the last 30 years where the average wealth of African Americans is like $5,000. So there needs to be a change. I think the change begins with culture, begins with teaching in our school systems. That's something that we also talk about, that we want to work on out in Meltrek as well, to support your brother, to support the dreams and aspirations of each other. Because if we don't, we're going to continue to give all of our wealth, all of our money, all of our resources to people who don't have our community in their best interest, who don't have our people in their best interest. And that's actually why I started this club, Mecca Moguls, at Howard University, because I see the creativity, I see the passion, I see the drive in a lot of the students here. And being in the School of Business, what is done pretty much is they bring in a lot of huge corporations. They bring in J.P. Morgan, Eli Lilly, Bank of America. And these corporations are coming in trying to get black work, talented black workers. That's what we have here. I'm never going to a prime A1 institution in my opinion, but we're funneling our talent to white corporations, and that's not what everybody wants. That's not what our community needs. We need a lot of these people to go out and form their own corporations, even if they do have to go and work for these corporations for a couple of years or to get a grasp of what they want to do. It's important for them to come back and give to the community and give to themselves as entrepreneurs, as business owners. So I'm working right now to just create resources, to create a pathway. The School of Business at Howard University, I'm sure a lot of other schools too, is actually starting entrepreneurship programs. They actually just picked up an entrepreneurship concentration that you can pick up here at the university. And so I'm looking forward to like working with the school to really encourage some of the best Black talent in the world to go through the process and to actually create a pathway for our students to become entrepreneurs. So yeah, that entrepreneurship should be a priority in every school system. I always talk about how financial literacy, entrepreneurship isn't taught, just like how history is one of those things that is weirdly not talked about in our school system, something that every African student should learn. Financial literacy is also something that isn't taught in a school system in a country where capitalism is the way. So it's like, how can you teach? How you're teaching people the importance of money, the importance of securing your finances, but yet you don't teach people how to do that in our school system. So where I'm actually with my organization, I'm actually going to be partnering with high schools to try to give financial literacy workshops to the students there. We don't learn how to do our taxes in school. We don't learn how to do our taxes. We don't know how to get a loan. We don't know how to do any of those things. And that's really important if you want to start a business. Really important if you want to save your wealth and not spend it frivolously. So it's really important. Entrepreneurship, being an owner is very important. I'm currently, it can be a struggle. It's not easy, but it's not it's something that needs to be prioritized. It's something that we all need to really support. Even if you're not that entrepreneurship in your community, everybody doesn't have the personality. Everybody doesn't have the drive to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. But it's really important that even if that's not you, to support the people who are for these $1 trillion companies, and to say that that's the end goal. So yeah, that's entrepreneurship really important. Definitely need to continue to support entrepreneurs.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm glad that. Well, for me, you have a leg up on the brothers and sisters that you are in business school with. You have a business model, and your business model has a global reach. So a lot of the things that they're learning, you learn with the bruises, and you got your scars and everything early, so you could kind of shape the mind, and also in regards to giving back. You already came up in the culture of giving back. So you have a culture of giving back. It's not just lip service. You see what I'm saying? So what you and your family have done, y'all went into business yourself, and also y'all are giving back. So you already reached the rope back. You see what I'm saying? I seen y'all in the communities giving back to your community. I seen you in y'all communities, creating, motivating visions for young people, and all the way into Ghana. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think it's from a space of sincerity, and love, versus some of these folks are just doing it for photo op. If you get what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Um, so I just want to ask this last question in regards to, you know, these overall lessons learned, for everything that you've done since you were a teenager. If you was talking to young men, specifically young black men, what advice, what message, what would you give to young men, young black men?
As far as young black men are some of the most powerful people in the world, just with our energy, um with our history, um with, what we need to keep in mind is that our community has generally not put in place a standard for young black men. I feel like I was given a standard at a young age as to what a man is, what a man should do, um, how a man carries himself. And in this generation, there's a lot of debate over like gender roles and things like that. But um, I think it's just important that a man is somebody who does the right thing. A man is somebody who a man a man isn't all these different masculine entities that are harming our community. I think that a big part of our culture is to say that men are treating women a certain way, to say that men are violent, to say that men are aggressive, and that's not necessarily who you have to be. Right? A man is somebody who can. A man is a provider. A man is somebody who does the right thing even when it's hard. A man is somebody is for him and is positively impacting his community. And if that's not what you see a man as, you need to form similar to that, to maybe find somebody in history who you see with these values that a man that with these values that are positive and really, yeah. As far as black men, I think productivity is also very. I think with all activity is very important. So, if you're not doing anything that's productive for our society, then you need to reevaluate, and that's hard for a lot of people. I think mentorship needs to be very through my business. I met a lot of strong black men in my community who were able to like provide not even always mentorship, but role models, or provide just some knowledge that can get me through the next day, that can get me through the next challenge of being a black mentor. Like I feel like on our streets we need somebody there for everybody. We all know that there's a that's been a problem with fatherhood in the black community, and I think a lot of these roles aren't defined. A lot of these roles needs and a lot of these roles need to be filled with people with genuine best interests. A lot of in the streets, people go out here, they find these drug dealers, and they look at them as far as father figures because they can provide for them and give them money and things like that. But they need to be able to, this isn't a role model because he doesn't have your best interest. He's trying to get a buck just like you. So yeah, I think that mentorship is the most important thing, and I feel like a lot of when they make it out of the hood, when they make it out of certain communities, it's hard for they often go off, start a family, leave that community. I just think we need to also it goes back to culture. We need to make it a culture for you to come back to give back to the men behind you and to really mentor them into being able to prosper and being able to really fix that mindset that's been holding our people back for so many generations.
All right. So final thoughts. Final thoughts for the family. You see our boss man checked in on us. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure that we good.
Mhm.
So final thoughts, acknowledgments, whomever you want, coming up that y'all want to plug in regards to, Edanime Productions, Meltrek, anything like that. Yourself personally, how people can support you, your social media links where people can find you, things like that. You have the floor.
Primarily, I want to shout out our supporters. We years now, thanks to our supporters globally, we've been able to sell products in over 40 different countries and 10 different countries and 40 different. So I just want to say thank you to all the people who have supported Meltrek and Ed Anime Productions, all the people who I see at the tables when I'm out tabling, all the people who are ordering online, all the people who are tuning into this show right now. And I just want to really express that we couldn't do it without y'all. And I think that we all need to all provide the best service that we can. That's what we're trying to do here at Anime Productions, trying to provide a quality service, a quality product to all of you. And just we're working on our third episode again, like I said, Meltra episode 3, the arrival of the Portuguese. And I know there's a lot of people who are on our necks about when is the next product coming out, when's the next product coming out, when's the next product coming out. Just know that we're working. We're always trying to come up with more products. We're trying to really flood the market and have a whole program for your children to learn this information because it's important. And so that's my shout out. Also, I want to shout out my mom, of course. Shout out my brother. Shout out my team. I have a great team of partners. My CEO, animators. We have a very very strong team we've been working with for the last uh, 5 or 6 years, and um, so those are my shout outs. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Ed Anime Productions. That's EDANIME Productions.com. Ed Anime Productions, and follow and purchase all of our products at edanimeproductions.com.
All right, Isaiah, man, I'm so proud. You understand? I'm seeing you grow up, from a teenager out there, watch you go through the voice changes and everything. You see what I'm saying? So I'm glad and I'm proud of you. You know, like Dr. Maya said, the whole village, like you got a global village that's behind you, and you are a proud and true ambassador of the ideal African young man, and you have a bright, bright future ahead of you. And I can see you, bringing young men along and being a catalyst changing your generation. So I just wanted to say that to you, publicly, and much respect and honor to you. And I'm excited for all of the things that
Thank you.
you have done and all the things that you will do. So we're gonna wrap it up, family. Get young this young man, man, just make me proud for real. Um, peace and love to everybody. Peace and black power. Shout out to Edanime Productions. Shout out to Doctor Oyama and the dream team of Meltrek. This family business is an inspiration to us all, and we receive it with great benefit and love. And we out of here. Peace.
Peace.